You already are your higher self. You can't not be your higher self, because your higher self is you. Your higher self chose to be you, to have the body that you have, to look the way that you look, to have the voice that you have, to experience the things that you have experienced, to be on this path that you've been on. So you're not finding yourself. You already are. It's that we've let this human avatar get in the way, listen too much to other people, give in to self-doubt, give in to imposter syndrome. Who you really are is already your higher self. So it's just a matter of remembering, putting all of that back together. Welcome to the Energy Within podcast, helping you to embrace your weird, beat imposter syndrome, and take action on your soul's purpose. My name is Carrie Jokala. I am your host. I am a Reiki master teacher, a fitness instructor, a wife, a mom to 2 little boys, and this is episode 194. And today I'm giving you a little peek into the Fire Within challenge. So if you were there live or you've watched the replay, you already know what is in today's podcast episode, but it could be worth another listen. I am giving you a look into day 1, where we talked about who you really are and really learning how to embody the next level energy, to embody your highest self, the next version of you instantly. Essentially being able to flip the switch and get into that energy on demand. Not necessarily meaning that you always now have to be in that energy. This is not about forcing or faking anything whatsoever, or pretending that you're someone that you're not, but really truly learning what it feels like to embody that next level, and then being able to step into that energy when you need it. We talk about the gap between who you think you are now, who you want to be, and how that all ties in with who you really are and your purpose and what you're here to do. So if you have been thinking about joining the Fire Within challenge, which is free, by the way, this is what we did on the first day. So you can go and watch the video if you prefer. It is inside the Energy Within Facebook group. If you want to qualify to enter for the giveaway, for the prizes that I'm giving away as part of this challenge, you will need to officially go sign up at carriejokala.com/fire. And that is where you will get the direct link to join the Energy Within Facebook group if you're not already in it. And right now, for this week, while the challenge is going on, only those officially signed up for the Fire Within challenge get access to special pricing for Unshackled 2.0, which has now been launched just to the people in the Fire Within. I did mention it on my Instagram in my stories briefly, but early bird, discounted pricing, and extra bonuses are only available for those who are officially signed up for the Fire Within. So make sure you go sign up. There's still time. We meet one more day. So we've done days 1 and 2 already, and we meet Thursday, June 15th at 11 a.m. Central Time. So if you're listening to this podcast on release day, you have another chance to catch us live, and then you'll have some time, if you can't be there live, to catch the replay before I announce the giveaway winners. So without further ado, here we go. I am really excited for today. So I did the meditation that I'm going to lead you through. I did it myself this morning, and it was pretty awesome. And it's my own meditations. So like this is something I'm just kind of allowing to come through my intuition. I don't know, I'm really excited about it. So as I've gotten more comfortable with leading meditations, I've just really enjoyed letting them flow and letting them come the way that they come out as they come. But I did also just want to kind of get a blueprint for how I was going to lead you through this meditation today. And I think it's going to be pretty awesome. So we are going to chat a little bit first before we do the meditation. I don't intend today to necessarily go an entire hour, but we could. I think the meditation took about 10 or 15 minutes when I did it. We'll see how long it takes me to lead you through it. But yeah, so let's talk real quick about how the rest of the week is going to go and what to expect and your prizes. Do I have them? Okay. So today we're talking about embodying your highest self, your next level self right now, being able to step into that kind of at will. Tomorrow is going to be balancing your masculine and feminine energies. I might get a little passionate during some of the topics we're going to talk about in that one. And then the third day, we're going to do fear setting, which is kind of similar but sort of opposite to goal setting. And then likely I'm planning on a little bit of Reiki, where you're going to be a little bit more of an active participant than you would be if we were to do just a regular Reiki session. Regular Reiki session, if you've never done one before, I am just sending you the energy and picking up images and feelings and, you know, maybe some messages that I'm getting. And we talk about that afterwards. And what all you have to do during the session is just relax and meditate. But for this one, it might be a little bit more similar to an active meditation where I'm going to guide you through something, but I'm also going to be sending in the Reiki at the same time. And that's where we might get into a little bit more of the back of your chakras, which I only briefly mentioned in one post. I haven't really talked about that too much. So we'll see. We'll kind of play with what happens when we get to that one. So each day is going to be at this same time, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Time. So we have today, we have tomorrow, and then we have Thursday. And then I'm planning probably Saturday to come in and do the giveaway announcement for, you know, the winners for the giveaway. And maybe, you know, Q&A if you have questions, or maybe some card pulls depending on how the week goes and how many questions there might be. I'm not going to do individual card pulls, but I did want to start off with one card just for today. So I'm kind of drawn to my Star Temple deck lately, so we're going to use the Star Temple deck again. Are you serious? This is the card that I pulled a lot yesterday. This is the one that I'm also supposed to send. The ancient grandmother, teacher, I am the teacher that leads with self-knowledge. But it's actually kind of perfect because embodying your higher self, trusting your intuition, allowing your creativity to flow, following your calling, that fire within that is leading you to your purpose, through your purpose, self-knowledge. You're trusting yourself. You're trusting your lived experience. You're trusting the nudges and the messages that come through in your intuition, because that really is your truth. I don't even know if I don't think I read the book for this one. So let's read the book. So there's star words with each of these cards. The star words for this card: teach, lead, and inner wisdom. You've got this. Everything you need to know is already inside you. Life has taught you to back yourself. Having confidence and believing in yourself will give you the aptitude to lead yourself in the right direction and offer sound guidance to others. Maya, the eldest sister of the Pleiades and ancient grandmother, supports you in gaining new insights and understandings through your intuitive channels and turning your knowledge into wisdom. Your empathic leadership gently nurtures others to grow and evolve. So, yeah, that's what this whole Fire Within challenge is about, is trusting yourself, your inner knowledge. We have become, as a whole, so disconnected. And I'm sure I have it saved, but obviously I can't bring it up because it's on my phone. But I saw a really great meme. Funny how we all talk in memes today, or at least I feel like I talk in memes a lot, about how just basically that our intuition is spot on. That's our inner knowing. That's our truth. It said it in a much better way. But it basically also said that when you've been taught basically your whole life that it's either wrong or it's broken, we've basically been told not to trust our intuition, not to trust our gut, not to trust the messages that are coming through, that we need to instead seek outside of ourselves, ask other people, ask other sources for our information, for our learning, for guidance. And we trust ourselves the least when we should be trusting ourselves the most. I don't think there's anything wrong. There's obviously a balance to be struck between asking others for help, looking outside of ourselves for the answers. But I find the more I go through this journey, the longer I've been on this journey, that if I'm looking outside, it's that I'm looking for confirmation of what I already know. That's what card pulls with me are. And I think that's what they're supposed to be with anybody you go to. It's not really that anyone's going to tell you anything new, but they're really going to give you, I'm going to give you confirmation of something you already knew. Maybe you didn't want to deal with it, or maybe it was something you wanted to trust, but you're just so unsure because maybe you have a track record where you think you're trusting your intuition, but then you fall flat on your face and it didn't work out. But we can get back in touch with that intuition. And it's just a process. I'm still learning. I'm still on that journey. But I know that I've come a really long way from when I started. And now looking back, I can see examples in my past of when I had that intuitive nudge, and I can see what happened when I trusted it and when I didn't. And a lot of times I didn't trust it, or I felt pressured to go against it. And then lo and behold, I find out later my intuition was right, but I didn't trust it. And I'm sure you have instances like that too. But I'm sure you also, if you are honest with yourself, you can look back and you have instances where you were right, you trusted your intuition, and you got it right. So when we so often have been told that our intuition is wrong, that our gut is wrong, that we shouldn't trust it, we kind of turn it off and decide that it's not worth taking the risk because it's too scary. Because what if we do get it wrong? But I think my whole point in this, before I ramble too much longer about it, is that whether you have trusted or not trusted your intuition has always been right, because you have either proven yourself right and got it right because you trusted your intuition, or you didn't trust your intuition, but you found out later that your intuition was right, you just didn't trust it. So I think we get blinded by the fact that we didn't trust our intuition and we don't pay as much attention or give ourselves as much credit for the times when we did get it right. So we just need to keep taking the risk every time, taking small risks. And, I'm not saying go out and ask yourself a big question about the next giant step in your life and then trust what comes through first, because that might not be your intuition. That might be fear and ego getting in the way. And when you're still figuring it out, you might not know what the difference feels like in your body. And we're going to talk more about that on day 3 as we get more into the fear setting and maybe a little bit some exercises on trying to reignite your intuition. So I hope I'm making sense. I feel like I'm going in circles a little bit myself, but I hope that that's making sense. So what I really want to talk about before we get into the meditation today is the gap between these three versions of ourselves. So there's who you think you are right now, there's who you want to be, and then there's who you really are. And today, we want to focus on how do we embody this next level version of ourselves now, or faster. Because I don't know if you saw one of my recent, I think it was a reel that I made. We tend to expect, I think, that everything is supposed to be this long, drawn out process. And I don't think there has to be a rush on the process. We shouldn't rush ourselves or try to force anything. This isn't about forcing yourself to embody your higher self. This isn't about faking it so you make it. I hate that phrase so much. And I've done a lot of podcast episodes on that, a lot of podcast episodes on imposter syndrome. This isn't about faking it. This isn't about forcing it. It's about learning how to step into that feeling. And that's what this meditation is going to do today. But at the same time, we tend to expect okay, this is going to take a really long time. This is going to be a really long journey. I also believe in how powerful we are as spiritual, creative, creator beings. We are celestial beings, that we are here to create, that it might not be reality all the time for all of us, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. That if we want something, we can't instantly manifest it. I believe we can. I'm not good at it all the time. But I've had some instances where I've been able to manifest things. There was one example that I just thought of earlier today where a long time ago, before I officially started my Reiki journey and all of this, I did a prosperity meditation and didn't really have a set attachment to it of I'm expecting to go here and do this or this money to come in from here. It was just, I'm going to do a prosperity meditation and see what happens. And I was working in a restaurant at the time, and later that night I'm at work. We were so busy. We were swamped. And I said it half jokingly, but I meant it serious, fully seriously on the inside. I told my manager, I'm I think I did this. I think this is my fault because I did a prosperity meditation this morning and it was so cool. And I don't think it was the next day exactly, but not long after that, I'm going to try that again. So I tried the prosperity meditation again, and we were not nearly as busy. I don't think it was a bad night, but it wasn't the first time. I'm what did I do wrong? And I realize now, looking back, that I was just too attached to the outcome. I was trying to force the prosperity to come in. So if I do this meditation, I'm going to go to work and it's going to be this busy. I suddenly had parameters for the what, the when, the how, the why, the where. And the first time I did it, it was just, let's see what happens. So again, there's a balance to be struck between setting your intention, putting your focus where you want it to go, but not getting so incredibly attached to it that you're trying to control how it goes. So this is manifesting your next level self, making this happen quicker without needing it to be long and drawn out. If you want it to be long and drawn out, then it can be long and drawn out. But if you're I ain't got time, let's figure out what this next level version of ourselves feels like and how to embody that as often as possible. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole big explanation of the law of assumption. As I've said, I don't know a ton about it. I've just learned a little bit about it. I talked a little bit about some of my experience with it in recent last couple of months or so on the podcast. And it's basically manifesting things instantly. It's not the law of attraction where you're aligning with the frequency. It's the law of assumption is saying basically that I get what I want. Like, there's absolutely no doubt. There's no having to try to align. It's just an instant confidence and belief in yourself and your ability to create the life that you want, to have things go the way that you want. And it's kind of hard to explain because it's not a full attachment to it. You're still not trying to 100% control everything. But I feel it's a step beyond the law of attraction. It's a step beyond just manifesting. It's fully stepping into that energy. And here's the last thing I want to say about it before I talk a little bit more about the gap, and then we'll do the meditation. I don't want you to come away from this. Again, this is not about forcing anything. This isn't about faking anything. I don't want you to feel like you now will have to always, all the time, embody your higher self. I certainly don't. There are definitely days when I am more human than anything else. There are times when I feel like I slip back into past versions of myself that I thought I had shed. And I start having these feelings again. But it's about, first of all, being able to catch those moments and then being able to decide if you want to change how you're feeling, how you're acting, how you're responding in those moments. And if you do, how able are you to shift your energy? So, who you think you are right now, if you're anything like me, you probably don't give yourself anywhere near enough credit for who you are, the things that you've accomplished, the things that you've been able to do, the relationships that you've created and nurtured and grown, the things maybe that your body has been able to do for you, but giving birth to children, healing itself. You've done more than you probably give yourself credit for. So hopefully in this meditation, you're going to be able to find those things that you've done and those versions of yourself that were the most helpful in getting you to where you are today. There's who you want to be. The gap there between who you think you are now, maybe you have imposter syndrome, maybe you have anxiety, maybe you have chronic pain, maybe you feel like you're just stuck and you can't get to where you want to go. There's who you want to be, and sometimes that gap can feel so big. Like that's what makes it feel like the journey is going to be so long and drawn out, that who I am now and who I want to be, they're so far apart. How do we close that gap? By understanding who you really are. And I'm not trying to be cutesy at all with this, I promise. But this idea of having to discover or find yourself, like, oh, I'm on a journey to find myself. If that's how you want to label it, that's fine. But I don't think we need to find who we are. Because, spoiler alerts, you already are your higher self. You can't not be your higher self. Because your higher self is you. Your higher self chose to be you. To have the body that you have, to look the way that you look, to have the voice that you have, to experience the things that you have experienced, to be on this path that you've been on. So you're not finding yourself. You already are. It's that we've let this human avatar get in the way, listen too much to other people, give in to self-doubt, give in to imposter syndrome. And this is all normal. I mean, I'm still working through this myself. I am by no means at master level as I'm teaching this. So a lot of this is also for me. But who you really are is already your higher self. So it's just a matter of remembering, putting all of that back together. And one thing that helps me is in the Conversations with God books. If you haven't read those, I highly recommend them, at least the first one. And it changed my perspective on how we are all actually connected. So every different religion, spiritual belief system, whatnot, has some form of explaining how we are all one. We are all from the same source, from the same God, from the same consciousness, however you want to look at it. We are all brothers and sisters, it said, because we all come from the same source. But what changed it for me a little bit was, in the book it said that we are literal pieces of God. So obviously we know God's not a person, but just to make it easy to envision, if God were to take a piece of himself and then place that down on earth and have that become an animated version, that's what we all are. We are all literal pieces of God, embodied and walking this earth and experiencing life in different ways. That changed my perspective a lot. And there's a lot more that goes into that. We could have full discussions about things on every single page. It would take a long time. It's a very hard to explain thing. It's something you just have to read and then comprehend in your own way. But that changed a lot of my perspective in looking at how we are all connected. It's not just that we're children of God for me. It's not just that we are all, come from the same creator. It's that we're actual pieces. That's how we're made in God's image, is that we are actual pieces of God. So you are never disconnected from God because you are God in that sense. And that's a whole different conversation, but that speaks to who you really are and how beautiful you are and how you are also a creator, how loved you are, how connected and not separate you are. And not to go too far into it, but think of it like, when it's time to return, you're going back. Let's say you came from here. You're going back. You will never not be disconnected. And that gives me chills. Like I don't know. That just helped me feel so much more calm about this whole journey and believe in myself more. When I remember that, I believe in myself and my abilities a lot more. So if we can remember that, especially in the times when we feel like we've, for lack of a better word, slipped back. There's nothing wrong with being our human selves. You can be your human self and just be in the 3D as often as you want to, as long as you want to. Like, we came here for a reason. We chose to be human for a reason. So enjoy it, But we also came here with a purpose and with a mission. And we are by nature creators. And you're a lot more powerful than you're giving yourself credit for. So I hope that makes sense. If it is, let me know. If you have questions, let me know. If you haven't said hi yet, but you're here, please make sure you do so that I know that you are here for the giveaway as well. Because remember, you gotta let me know that you're watching the video. Even if you're watching the replay, let me know that you're here. And then don't forget to share too. We're going to get into the meditation. So you can start to get comfortable. Ideally somewhere, there's the one. Ideally somewhere where you are somehow supported because you're going to be closing your eyes. And we're going to be here for 10 to 15 minutes based on how long this took me. I'm glad, Jessica. Hi, Kathy. Michelle, thank you so much for all your comments. I see all of that. I love it. Okay. I didn't prep you for this, but you can grab one afterwards too. But if you want to have like a notebook or something next to you to write on, or even you probably can't. You probably don't. Facebook is weird. Like Zoom, you can go out and everything still plays and you can like type notes. Facebook Live, for whatever reason, you still can't do that. So have something next to you probably to write on in case you have some revelations that come up during this meditation that you want to make sure you remember. Or maybe use as your your takeaways to share on your social media. So, all right. Those are my kids running around. Hopefully they're going to be quiet. And close your eyes. And start with a few slow, deep breaths at your own pace. And we'll start a body scan, just looking for areas of tension. We're going to try to release that tension. So starting at your toes, you can wiggle your toes, rotate your ankles. Sending your breath, sending your energy into any areas that you find that need a little extra help with the release. Moving up into your legs, squeezing, releasing the muscles. And if there's anywhere that you need to spend some extra time, even if I've been moving on, go ahead and go back to that spot or stay there longer if you need to. Letting go of the kneecaps. Moving up into the thighs, squeezing and releasing. Into the hips, maybe we take some motion here, side to side, or some circles. Into the lower back and the abdomen, letting go of any tension that you're holding in your stomach. Into the upper back and the chest, maybe a deep breath here. Moving up into the shoulders, maybe pull them up towards the ears, rounding them back and down, pulling them forward, pulling them back, whatever you need. Down through the arms, all the way past the elbows, through your wrists and into your fingertips, opening and closing the fists, rotating the wrists. Back up through the arms and into the neck. Maybe some more motion here. And up into the head, relaxing your jaw, tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Letting go of your cheeks, nose, eyelids, ears, forehead, and the top of the head. We're going to take a moment to ground. So starting at your root chakra, which is at the very base of your spine, glowing a bright red color, send that energy all the way down through your legs, through your feet, all the way down into the earth, and go as far into the earth as you need. You can go all the way down into the center if you like. Maybe down into the fire. And draw that energy back up and let it fill you. Feeling that energy all the way from your toes, all the way up to the crown. Maybe feeling the tingling, the electricity. Getting ready for this journey. And right now, just start to feel what it feels like to be in your body. And what you should start to feel is almost a little separation. You are now your soul, just feeling what it feels like to be in this body. Maybe you feel some tingles, some more electricity. Maybe you're starting to feel a little floaty. Now lean into that lightness and allow yourself to come all the way out. And now turn around and look at your body as you're sitting here now, as you're laying there, wherever you are. You are your soul outside of you, looking at you. And this took a little bit for me to stay on the outside versus coming back into my body. So if it's not happening right away, that's okay. Just keep trying, do your best. And just envision you looking at yourself. And the first thing I want you to see is how beautiful you are. Remember that you chose this body, this person, this vessel for a reason. And feel that gratitude for this person, this body that has carried you through to today. Physically looking at what this body has done, growing from a little baby all the way up to this grown adult. Maybe it's carried and given birth to children. Maybe it's healed from pain. We've healed scraped knees as a kid. Maybe you've healed broken bones. Maybe you've been able to heal some chronic pain. And even if you're just in a season of physical survival, gratitude for making it through, for powering through, for being this strong. And look again at how beautiful you are. Can you see your aura? Can you see the light around you? Because that's what you really are, is light. Now, I want you to see a timeline above your head. And you can send it any direction you want, but this timeline is going into your past. All the way back. All the way back. This lifetime. All the way back. And I want you to see all of the different versions of you that have led up to today. All in a row. So all the way from a little baby, moving up through the years, all the way to the you that is still sitting here. You are still looking at all of this from the outside. And some versions of you might stand out more than others. But here's where we're going to show some gratitude, some love for those different versions of you that led you to here. For enduring the hard things that had to be endured. For going on the personal growth journeys, for experiencing the happy moments. for dealing with all the struggles and making it through, because you did make it through, because you're here today. And see how each version of you was absolutely necessary for the next one to be able to show up. You can't skip any of them. They all had to be here. So when we look back this way, ideally you'll see that there was never anything wrong with the past versions of you. You didn't shed those past versions because there was something wrong. You simply shed them because you outgrew them. You learned all the lessons that version of you could learn, and it was time to move on and embody the next. And in many cases on this journey, depending on when you started being more conscious of it, a lot of it was unconscious. It just happened. Find that trust, grab a hold of it, and bring that with you. Now we're going to take all those past versions of you, collect them all together, collect all that energy, and we're just going to merge it back with your aura, not with your current body, not with your current you, but just with your aura, because there are still things from, positive things from those past versions that you still want to carry with you, because they all helped you get to where you are. So just let that positive energy fill your aura, all outside your body, in that light. Close that timeline. And now we're going to take that timeline into the future. Now this might look a little different. You might be able to see multiple future versions of you. You might only be able to see one, but you will be able to see one. Set that intention that you can see, at minimum, the next version of you. If you can't see any further, that's okay. It's not a reflection of you. It could just mean that your higher self knows you're not quite ready to see those future versions. But you can see the next version. See what she looks like. See how she acts. See how she smiles. See what she loves to do, who she loves to be. That's that future you that sometimes feels so far away. But she's not. She's right in front of you. So we've been this soul this whole time looking from the outside. We're still on the outside. Take that future version of you and guide her into the current version of you. Now you can come back into your body and feel what this next version of you feels like. What does this energy feel like? It should feel different than what you felt at the beginning of this meditation. Does it feel more exciting? Do you feel more confidence? Do you feel more happiness? Do you feel more self-love? Do you feel more empowered? Do you have more belief in yourself and what you can do? This version of you isn't something you have to reach for. It's not something you have to fake. This version of you has been standing here waiting for you to reach this point. So now it's just maintaining this feeling. And it's okay not to have this feeling every day. But now you know what it feels like. And so you can bring this in anytime, in the moment that you need it. Remember this feeling. Keep this feeling. This is real, this is true, this is who you really are, and this is the next level you that's meant to be here. Feel free to sit with this as long as you want. And then when you're ready, you can start to open your eyes, come back to this room, take some deep breaths. And then feel free to take some time. I'll give you about a minute without me saying anything so that you can write down anything that you want to write down. And if you feel inclined to share anything in the comments, go ahead. You don't have to. Obviously, this was a very personal meditation. But if there's anything you feel called to share, you feel okay to share, go ahead. If there is something you want to share but you don't want to say it publicly, but you would like to share it with me, I will not share it publicly. I don't share things like that without people's permission. So if you want to reach out or you have a question about something that came up, feel free to ask. I realized the old messed up versions were not actually messed up. They were doing research and preparing me for now. Exactly. I don't know a ton about soul contracts. I only know the little bit that I've read and that what makes sense to me in trying to understand what soul contracts mean and how free will still fits into all of that. But I do believe that no matter what our journey ends up, like, you can't fail at this. You can't not be your higher self, and you can't fail at your mission, because no matter the path that you choose to get there, you're going to get there. So it's that inner trust, that inner knowing, trust in your self-knowledge, trust in your intuition. But yeah, your higher self, like, you chose to be this person. You chose the journey that you're on. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you chose every experience that happened to you, but I kind of do personally believe that in a way we chose every experience. That's a deeper conversation. That's a conversation I know some people reject and aren't ready for. And I understand that, so I'm not here to tell you that you have to think the same way that I do about that, but I do believe that there's a reason for everything that we go through. I see some more. So no realizations over here, just feeling super curious about myself now. Yeah. So we're going to continue. Obviously we have 2 more days of this fire within journey, lighting. So we've lit the fire, we've lit the spark. So tomorrow we're going to dig deeper in. Now we know what it feels like to embody our higher self, to have that next level version here. And again, don't feel like you ever have to force that, or that you're failing if, say, tomorrow you're like, I don't feel the way I felt yesterday anymore, and I can't bring it in. Take a breath, reset, maybe go back to the meditation if you want, as many times as you need to, until it's something that you can just lean into energetically to bring in. It can take some practice. But you're not failing if you're not always this next level version of yourself. There's always ebbs and flows. There's always ups and downs. Like I said, there's even times when I still feel like I've slipped back into way old versions of myself. I've felt that even recently. Like, all of a sudden I'll feel like my old self from, college, when I had very low self-confidence. I'm like, where is this coming from? Why am I feeling like a kid around other adults? Like, why do I feel like other adults are more adult than me? I'm 40 years old. So there's ebbs and flows. So don't fake it till you make it. Don't force it. Go back and tap into that feeling when you want to. But it's also about knowing that you can do that when you want to. It's having that trust, that law of assumption energy, that you can be the person you want to be in the moment you want to be. Truly being that person for real. So I'm going to read this. I'm looking at everything I've been through. Why would I not realize I am capable of anything I choose? Exactly. Remembering to own that confidence. My higher self wants a new planner. Tomorrow, we're going to get into balancing the masculine and feminine energies. I believe I have a slightly different take on that than a lot of what's out there. I'm not going to get too into it, but I see a lot of like the future is female because there's been so much heavy masculine patriarchal energy, you know, however many, probably hundreds of years or thousands of years or however long, I don't even know. But I'll give you a little spoiler alert. My thought on it is that the future is balanced. And I don't care about these people who try to say that balance is an illusion. I don't believe balance is an illusion. I believe balance is possible. It just doesn't mean 50-50. Balance does not mean 50-50 all the time. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. We'll talk about feeling worthy, getting past imposter syndrome, feeling worthy to receive, which is, I think, a bigger obstacle than we might realize in allowing ourselves to step forward into our purpose and what we want to do. So sometimes that's where the block lies. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. And then, like I said, on Friday, we're going to do more about intuition. We're going to talk about fear setting. There's going to be some active participation, Reiki, meditation, energy work. So that's all going to be super fun. I'm looking forward to that. So take this energy with you. Take this energy with you and own it when you want to. Don't force it. But when you want to, when you remember, when you're like, okay, I need to be grounded. I need to be my best version of myself. I need my next level version for what I'm about to do. Come back to this energy. Take a breath, take a moment, ground yourself, and remember that feeling. And then go forward. So, all right, so make sure you're commenting, you're participating. Make sure, I think every one of you who's been here today is officially signed up. But if anyone else jumps on and you want to be considered for the giveaway, make sure you're officially signed up, carriejocala.com/fire. And if you want extra entries, please share it to your social media. Even just, hey, I'm doing this challenge and it's super fun. Or if you want to share some of your breakthroughs, takeaways, share those and make sure that you tag me. So I'm going to wrap it up because we did go for an hour today. All right. So I will see you tomorrow at the same time. Mwah. Thanks for being here. Bye. I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope that you had maybe some revelations, some breakthroughs. If you did, I would love to hear about them. So please feel free to either go comment on the video itself or send me a DM and let me know what came up for you. And if you are in the Fire Within Challenge or you're about to join and you know someone who would benefit from this, make sure you invite them. Share and tell your friends what you're leaning into and where you're headed. And lastly, just so you know, this is the first time I've ever done this, but I am going to be taking down these videos after a while. I haven't quite set a timeline yet, but pretty soon, within at least the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be taking these videos down because this may be something that I turn into a future offer on my website. So if you would like to experience the Fire Within for free, make sure you get in and watch those videos now. That is where I will leave it. I hope to see you inside the Fire Within Challenge or even in the next step in the Unshackled 2.0 program. If you have any questions about either one, please let me know. Check out the testimonials that I have up there. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time.